comes from true stories told by 25 individuals who met with a team of 25 writers who wrote down poems and essays and narratives and other forms of written communication about those people's experiences, which are now in a book, which is available for free to all of you as you exit. The theater ensemble then took all of those stories and devised the piece that you're going to see tonight. So it is all inspired by true stories. Some of the characters are not word for word from the book. For example, sometimes we took multiple people who had similar stories and put into one character. But overall, everything you see is ethnodramatic, and that's an ethnography of the folks who were involved. If you can please take a moment and turn off your cell phones, we would sincerely appreciate that, because somebody didn't do that last night, and it was really sad. You could even say it was depressing.
Come on, Ned.
All right, thank you so much for doing that, and please enjoy the show.
The performance you will see this evening is based on stories of people in our community.
Women, men, teenagers, grandparents, students, professionals,
retirees,
straight people,
members of the LGBTQ community,
the devoutly religious, those who aren't certain of a God at all,
and people from different racial and ethnic backgrounds.
These storytellers shared their experience with a team of writers through the Facing Depression in Cache Valley project. Everybody came to this project with a different set of expectations that shaped our experience. And some of the writers were surprised by who or what they found.
Tom? I consider myself to be a well-informed and sensitive millennial who notes and refutes the stereotypes perpetuated on Facebook. Nonetheless, I am embarrassed to admit that I imagined Tom would be less put together. Unkept hair or a cluttered home. Instead, he has a charming, self-contained smile. His clothes are clean and possibly pressed, and he sports a matching leather watch. The face that greets me is not the face of someone I assume would be a storyteller in a project about depression.
Similarly, our devising team was surprised and sometimes inspired by the material that the storytellers offered. Our hope is that this piece helps us better understand depression and the lives of the people it affects, and helps make Cache Valley a safe place to talk openly about depression and mental illness.
The thing about depression is that you're always trying to escape. Sometimes it's the sorrow you're trying to evade. There are times where you feel like you do anything to escape the feeling of utter hopelessness, the somber but certain knowledge that nothing will ever change, that you'll be stuck in complete and utter darkness forever. But then sometimes it's the sorrow you're trying to escape too. After a while, the depression becomes, you get so used to the depression that it becomes a sort of companion. It's familiar. Plus, your depression never tells you, well, have you just tried being happier? The thing about escaping is that it's not as easy as it sounds. You have a few methods for dealing with the depression. Option A is undeniably attractive. What better escape plan can you have than to just disappear? To just end it, right then and there. My main issue with suicide is that I kind of suck at it. It's not for lack of trying. I've tried more times than I could count. My parents and friends thought it was a phase. I showed all your typical signs of being your angsty, stereotypical teenager. I would get in trouble for sitting around in the dark, for sleeping too much, and writing gloomy poetry. Eventually, I started self-medicating, trying everything I could to distract myself from my depression. It led me, that led to option B, drugs. I started smoking pot. It helped a little. It let me forget about all of the hopelessness and emptiness inside me. But it never lasted for very long. I turning to other things. Journaling became a release for me. It was the only way I could try to figure out why I could fight for so long and never seem to get any reprieve from the anguish that seemed to fill every day. In 2003, I wrote,
It seems to feel like life is becoming overbearing. It's so hard for me to admit, especially to myself, that I am so unable to take care of things in life. I'm always falling short by just a few pieces. I fight and I ignore and I try not to see or believe that it's there. It's strange how I can find such solitude and become so securely comfortable within my wall of black. It's so pointless. I try, but to no avail.
that attitude is what defined my life for so many years. It wasn't until about 2 years after I wrote that entry that I found option C, therapy. I started seeing Brandy. In all I had gone through, she was the first person to actually listen to me. She really listened to me. Having my feelings validated was a refreshing change. She understood that depression isn't just something you get over, like the common cold. Look, everybody has super shitty days. That doesn't change. But I can look back at what I was writing in 2003 and know that 14 years later, my life turned out okay. I am far from the only person in this valley who struggled with depression. But I am also far from the only person in this valley who wants to help. There are so many of us. Please reach out. Please come to us. We can't promise you perfect days. We can't force you to be happy. But we can offer you friendship and kindness, support, and the knowledge that you're not alone.
In fact, over 15 million American adults suffer from major depressive disorder each year. And depression affects 1 in every 5 adults here in Cache Valley. If you don't suffer from depression yourself, you know someone who does. Sometimes depression seems to stem from a specific incident.
When I was 8, my parents got divorced. My father was an alcoholic.
When I was 13, I realized that I was gay. My parents insisted it was a disgusting sin to be homosexual.
In my case, it was a genetic predisposition.
I was raped.
I didn't feel like I fit a definition of people.
I didn't know that men could be sexually assaulted. Then I was.
If I ever had to get up in front of someone and talk, I would just start crying. I couldn't handle it. It made me feel inferior.
But for many people, there is no specific identifiable trigger for depression. It just appears in their lives. Knowing that there's no specific reason to be depressed just makes the situation even more depressing.
My depression began when I was in high school. It showed itself through feelings of inadequacy. I had always been good about giving love in relationships, but I never felt good about receiving love. It's interesting because a part of my brain, the intellect, knew how utterly preposterous those feelings were. There is no way that someone is unlovable. And yet, my brain's other half was like,
Nope, it's true. You are unlovable.
I felt like I had a split brain. The one side was able to discern what I was feeling from what I was upset about, but then the other side was just filled with feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. Feelings that shouldn't logically be there, but they were there and saying,
Nope, you suck. Life sucks.
luckily, I had a great group of friends and great roommates, so I would ask myself,
Why do you feel this way? You have a great group of people telling you that they love you.
that was the most frustrating thing. I would try to shake it off, and I would tell myself,
You have a great group of people. You know that isn't true.
I decided to take the semester off and volunteer abroad as a teacher in China. I still hadn't recognized my depression as depression, or the fact that I should probably do something about it. So I went to China. That was really hard.
Something's wrong.
I spent the majority of every day crying. I had always been the one to take care of others, but in China, among my group of volunteers, I was the one that had to be taken care of.
people can see you aren't okay. You are inadequate. How do you expect to be a caregiver when you're like this?
I started taking medication, and I did a lot of self-reflection.
You are a terrible teacher.
No, you are not. You are nowhere near perfect. You don't have to be perfect, but you can be somebody who perfectly loves these kids. These kids need love. They need more love and care than I do right now.
And I can provide that. I have been able to overcome my depression to the point where it no longer controls my life. It will always be a part of me because I learned and grew so much from it. But instead of my depression defining me, I have defined my experience with depression. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. In fact, it takes more strength to reach out and get help and be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a hard thing to do.
It is hard to be vulnerable with other people. Sometimes with all the voices in our heads, it can be even harder to be vulnerable with ourselves.
Cover it up. It doesn't exist.
What alcohol? What failure?
Oh, I don't want to be here.
Cover it up.
Problems don't exist.
Hold his hand.
It's cold on my heart.
But they don't know. They won't know if you smile.
Put on my makeup. Find a smile.
Death happens.
It's been a month.
Here's a comb.
Let me stay in bed. Can't move.
You're imagining things.
Arm too heavy. Leg too heavy. Heart too heavy.
Take care of your
Kids.
wife.
They hate me. We can't.
I'm out of clean clothes.
When are you going to stop it and come home?
2 boxes of heirloom ornaments. Just bought a bed. I am home.
You have work.
And a cat to feed.
Eat.
I can't talk to people at a drive-thru. Eat. I don't want to cook. It needs dishes to wash.
Eat.
Carrots, lettuce, whole grain. I will drink my Diet Coke in bed. Celexa, Effexor, amitriptyline, venlafaxine, pill to sleep, pill to wake up.
Wake up. Grandkids smile when they see you.
Forgotten. How long would it take for them to notice?
You were fat, Mom, and it's embarrassing.
Ativan. Ativan, where is my Ativan? Dear God, I dare you to kill me. 1 Ativan, 2 Ativan, 3 Ativan.
Get up.
You only slept.
Just be okay. Just choose to be happy.
Did I take my meds too early? Too late? Did I get too much sleep and not enough? Because I didn't say hi to the checkout lady. Too much sunlight? Not enough. I don't want to get sunburned. Is it because I ate cookies instead of apples? And is that girl okay? The one who got locked out of her apartment in the snow?
Her mom came home, remember?
She was probably so scared. And I hope she's all right tonight. And should I take my pills now or wait an hour until I feel more tired? Or is it better to take them now while I feel okay? And why am I here? And why is happy so hard? And I don't have $95 to spend on a therapy session. I don't want to be here. Put on my makeup. Find a smile.
While many people do experience depression in their lives, many don't, which can lead to misconceptions about what depression really is.
A lot of stereotypes exist. Most people think that when you're depressed, you just sit around all day and do nothing. When I was my most depressed, I was also my most academically productive. I was kicking so much ass in a master's degree, people thought I was a PhD student. I was teaching myself stats, learning computer scripting, and doing fun outdoor activities. But there was always something missing, something below the surface.
Sometimes people don't understand that depression doesn't mean that you are sad all of the time. It means that you spend a lot more time there than you usually would. But you can be happy. You can laugh. You can be a fairly normal person. You just tend to spend more time with fighting with more time in the down, in the negative.
Sometimes I think people assume that either you
my life. To be able to say, I have depression, I have PTSD. I love telling people that I go to therapy. Sometimes when I tell them though, they say, are you sure you want to tell me that? Hell yeah, I do, because it was so good. There's power when I acknowledge this because it's part of my reality.
But what if other people don't acknowledge that depression is part of someone's reality?
I never thought of myself as a sad person, just an anxious one. The first time I noticed I was experiencing something other than my normal anxiety, I was training for a religious mission. I still can't explain what I felt. Confusion, darkness. When the bad feelings became unbearable, I went to my training lead. I tried to explain to them how I felt, but they just insisted, there's nothing wrong with you. They were convinced that if I went home,
You'll regret it forever.
I was so frustrated. My feelings weren't being heard. Once out of training, I went to Chile, my assigned mission country. There, I was partnered with another missionary who was strict, and we butted heads immediately. 3 weeks in, I decided that I needed to go home. When I tried mentioning what I was feeling, she lectured me with Bible passages, and she told me,
You need to stay. If you leave, God will judge you harshly.
eventually, I called our mission president. As soon as he answered, the tears started to fall. I tried to explain what I felt, but he interrupted me.
You can do it. You'll be fine.
Silent tears rolled down my face the entire conversation. Once again, my feelings were being dismissed. Later, I was put in contact with an American psychologist, and right away she diagnosed me.
Depression and anxiety.
There was no talk of going home. Instead,
This is for Zoloft, and take Tylenol PM. On your way.
later I was put in with a local psychologist who, at the end of that appointment, concluded,
You are a perfectionist with intense psychological damage stemming from a terrible relationship with your father.
What? I kept feeling more miserable than ever. I started having weekly phone calls with the head psychologist in Salt Lake City, the one for missionaries. I felt more like a medical patient than an actual missionary. Into one phone call, I couldn't stop the tears from coming, and there was a long silence on his end. Finally, he told me,
My job is to make sure that missionaries are adjusting. It sounds like you never truly adjusted. You're trying, you're holding on, but barely. That's not healthy. Have you considered going home?
we agreed that going home would be best. I was called in to meet with my mission president. The last thing that he ever said to me was,
I don't think depression is something you'll be facing forever.
I wished I could agree.
In most cases, mental illness can't be cured, but it can be controlled. Research has now shown that mental illness is often caused by a biochemical imbalance in our brain. Help may include proper diagnosis and medication.
I will have mental illness for the rest of my life. Just like some people have arthritis, or diabetes, or macular degeneration. I take 3 antidepressants daily, and it took years of trial and error to find the right medication for me. It's a combination of medication and therapy that are helping me heal.
If you end up going the medication route, you play the game of finding something that works for you. And there's always a trade-off with side effects. At times, I feel like the side effects of the medication are harder than the illness itself. I mean, medication is fine. It does a great job of numbing everything I feel. It does take the edge off of worthlessness, but it also makes the sun, the grass, the curtains, the chairs look less. I can't see anything past the fog. All color and urgency have been stripped away.
Medication is nothing to be ashamed of. Would you feel embarrassed or humiliated if you had cancer and had to seek treatment?